He tried to nail my front door shut while I was moving out. That's not a metaphor. He literally broke into my apartment and hammered my door closed from the outside, like I was some animal to be locked in. But guess what? That was the last mistake he ever made, because I had the police on speed dial and karma on my side. If you've ever been treated like garbage by someone in power, a boss, a landlord, anyone, and wished you could get the ultimate revenge, this one's for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this story ends with felony charges, thousands in fines, and the kind of justice most of us only dream of. Let me tell you about the absolute worst person I've ever had the misfortune of dealing with. My landlord. Calling him a landlord honestly feels too respectful. He wasn't some grumpy property manager doing his job badly. He was a greedy, manipulative snake who treated his tenants like pests instead of people. For 3 long years, I rented an apartment in his building. It wasn't anything fancy. In fact, it was falling apart, but I paid my rent on time. Every single month. I kept to myself, respected the place, followed every rule. And still, he treated me like garbage. It started with little things. Household items kept disappearing from the shared laundry area. Detergent, cleaning supplies, even my personal dryer. Gone. No explanation, no apology. Just shrugged shoulders if I dared to ask. Then, one day, the plumbing in the kitchen backed up. I figured, no big deal. Things wear out. That's part of owning property, right? Not to him. He sent me a bill. Not a warning, not a request, a bill. Hundreds of dollars for what was clearly normal wear and tear. And when I pushed back, he got nasty. That same month, for the first time ever, I was late on rent. By 2 days, and only because I was forced to fork over my savings for his plumbing bill.
That's when things turned dark. He tried to raise my rent, out of nowhere, by $150 a month. No warning, no justification, just greed. When I pushed back again, he tried to break into my apartment. You read that right. He literally tried to force his way inside my home. And it didn't stop there. I started receiving letters about a parking spot I had been using for years, suddenly claiming I was violating the lease. He threatened to tow my car. That was the final straw. I contacted a lawyer. The second he found out, it was like I had declared war. He started retaliating, harassing me, piling on stress like it was his full-time job. And all the while, the apartment itself, a disaster. The porch was falling apart, rotted wood, loose railings, a straight-up safety hazard. The plumbing? Later, I'd find out it was illegally installed. The gas heater didn't even meet code. Ceiling paint flaked off in chunks like it was snowing indoors.
Still, I stayed. I had no choice. Moving is expensive, and I was barely scraping by. But then, he made his biggest mistake yet. He tried to raise my rent again. Not by $100, not $200. He wanted an extra $500 a month. That was it. That was my breaking point. I knew I was leaving, but I also knew I couldn't walk away quietly. This man had bullied people for years. I wasn't just going to vanish. I was going to make sure he paid for every ounce of stress he put me, and probably countless others, through. So, 4 days before I moved out, I picked up the phone and called the city's building inspector. And when I say I unloaded, I mean I gave him the full, unfiltered truth. The porch that he finally repaired without a single permit. The illegal plumbing. The gas heater that was practically a fire hazard. The exposed wires. The missing carbon monoxide detectors. The inspector showed up the very next day. He brought a clipboard, he took photos, he measured the porch, took notes, shook his head. A lot. Every violation, $500 a day in fines until it's fixed. I don't know exactly how much it added up to, But judging by the inspector's face, it wasn't small. And best of all, now he was on their radar. But that wasn't the end. 1 week before my lease officially ended, he texted me, "You need to be out by noon on Friday." Where I live, that's not how it works. Lease ends at midnight. I had every right to be there until the very last minute.
So he threatened to call the police on me. I beat him to it. I walked into the police station the morning of the move and calmly explained the situation, the threats, the harassment, the attempted break-ins. I told them I was worried he might try something. And boy, did he deliver. While I was gone for just 2 hours, moving boxes to storage, he came to the apartment and broke in. When I came back, I found my front door nailed shut. He didn't even bother to hide it, hammered nails through the frame like some psycho trying to lock me out of my own life. I called the police immediately. This time, I asked for a supervisor. And wouldn't you know it, the second he heard I had called the cops, he vanished, gone before they got there. Because he knew if that supervisor showed up and saw the damage, he'd be arrested on the spot.
But it didn't matter. I had photos, I had texts, I had a police report. And now, he is being charged with a felony, breaking and entering, plus daily fines for every building code violation he tried to sweep under the rug. So, to recap, this man stole from me, extorted me, threatened me, broke the law repeatedly, and tried to make my life miserable. He ended up with a police record, felony charges, and thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in city fines. And me? I walked out, head held high, into a clean, safe apartment with every ounce of satisfaction I could possibly ask for. Sometimes, karma needs a little push, and I was more than happy to give it one. It's wild how people in power think they can get away with treating others like dirt until one person stands up and says, "Not today." I didn't just fight for myself. I fought for every tenant he ever tried to bully, and I won. If this story gave you chills or made you fist pump a little, hit that like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And, as always, stay petty, stay powerful, and stay tuned for more real stories that prove karma always collects.